God is dead. God remains dead. And we have killed him. Nietzsche wrote this at the end of the 19th century, but perhaps this is the most current phrase of our time. And before you think this is just a religious provocation, listen until the end. Nietzsche was not celebrating the death of God. It was not an attack on faith, but a brutal diagnosis of the collapse of the certainties that sustained the human soul for centuries. When he said that God was dead, he was talking about the end of all meaning that came from outside, the end of absolute morality, of guaranteed purpose, of eternal truth. The death of God represents the ruin of everything that gave structure to our existence. And that is precisely what you feel today, even if you cannot name it. You look around and everything seems to be in place. There is food in the fridge, people around you, maybe a job, maybe a plan. But inside you, something is not right. You feel that hole, that sensation of being outside your own body, a disconnection from life, as if everything is happening, but you are not really there, and no one sees it. You yourself try not to see it. But at night, when the noise stops, it appears. The question, the damn question that you try to drown out with music, social media, series, work, or even cheap spirituality. But it comes back. It always comes back. What is the meaning of all this? You are not alone. And more importantly, you are not wrong for feeling this way. The truth is that we live in a world where the ancient gods have died, but we have not yet created anything to take their place. We grew up hearing that we should study, work, build a family, be good citizens. But at some point, this narrative that seemed to make sense begins to unravel. You start to realize that what was promised to you does not fulfill. You followed the script, and still you are empty. That's where Nietzsche comes in. He was one of the few who had the courage to face this emptiness head-on, without anesthesia, without illusions, without toxic positivity. He understood that the death of God was not the end, but the beginning of a new challenge. The challenge of living without ready-made truths, of facing the world without crutches, of building real meaning, or being swallowed by nihilism. And if you are here, watching this video, it's because at some level you feel this too. Maybe you have tried to convince yourself that everything is fine. Maybe you have pretended for others. But inside, you know, something is broken. And I tell you, this is not the end. It can be the beginning, but only if you have the courage to continue. In this video, I will show you exactly what Nietzsche meant by this phrase, and more importantly, what you can do with this brutal truth. Because after God dies, what remains is you, and you better be ready for that. Have you ever noticed how modern life seems tailor-made to avoid silence? Everything is noise. Everything is speed. Your day starts with notifications and ends with distractions. You wake up with a to-do list and fall asleep with a sense of tiredness that is not just physical. It's existential. And in the midst of this flow, everyone pretends that everything is fine. But it's not. The promise of progress was clear. If we have more comfort, more technology, more freedom, we will be happier. But now that we have all of this, why do we feel so empty? Why, even with all the achievements of civilization, do rates of depression and anxiety keep skyrocketing? Why do we feel this nameless pain, this fatigue that doesn't go away with sleep, this restlessness that no achievement can calm? It's because the modern world has created an illusion, the illusion that we are in control, the illusion that simply going with the flow will lead us to meaning. Choose a profession, be productive, succeed, post about it. But what no one says is that this script we blindly follow was built on pillars that have already crumbled. The morality that guided us has lost its center. The religion that promised salvation has become just another product. And even science, our new deity,